Well, everyone, welcome back to another episode of The High Ground. I'm Reed.
I'm Matt.
Well, today we're going to shift gears a little bit. There's a new movie coming out here in just about a month, maybe slightly under a month, that has been under great anticipation by fans, moviegoers, and pretty much just people for a very long time. They really didn't think it would happen for the longest time. I'm sure there's lots of fans screaming for it, but finally it's being done.
Equally amount screaming not to do it.
But and I think we can both agree that if anybody else would have tried to do it, it probably wouldn't really work out. But because he is, we really have a lot of confidence in this that it's not going to be maybe as good as the first one, but it's going to stand alone on its own 2 feet, and it's still going to be just not, if not even more enjoyable. And what we're referring to is the upcoming Netflix release of Happy Gilmore 2. Now, this is a movie that I can speak from growing up around the time period I did, and I know that Matt did. It just kind of came out when we were growing up. Oh, whatever. It came out when we were growing up. Like, okay, it had been out for a couple of years, but probably by the time we watched it, it was on when family members had it on. We kind of caught pieces and bits of it.
Anybody that lived through the 90s and 2000s, it's more than likely one of your top 10, if not your top 5 best movies ever.
It's one of those early things. It's kind of like what Jim Carrey and his maybe Ace Ventura movies. There's kind of one of those earlier, more breakout roles where it was the wildest, craziest shit you can imagine, but somehow it just worked, and the fan base for it just grew and grew. Audiences loved it and just begged for more every step of the way. And now here we are, almost 2 decades later. Adam Sandler finally decided to make a sequel to it, and it looks like, at least from the trailers info we've got so far, it looks like he really he really put his heart into it. And he really had a lot of fun with this. What do you think? I mean, like I said, we just you saw the trailer for the first time a few minutes ago. What do you think?
Well, so Justin told a few minutes ago, I've been actively avoiding the trailers. I'm one of those ones that am a little worried about the sequel. I'm going to bring up Anchorman as my example. Anchorman is one of the all-time greatest comedies. I think everybody can agree to that. Anchorman and Step Brothers, one of the 2 greatest comedies ever. They did Anchorman 2, and to be honest, I know for sure I've watched it, but then when Reed explained the storyline to me, I really didn't have a lot of recollection to the movie. And then when we watched the trailer for Anchorman 2, I really was quite unsure if I had seen the movie before, but I know I had. But that kind of shows you really just how unmemorable the movie was. And I'm a little worried right now that Happy Gilmore 2 will fall under that same category, where you run out of ideas and you go to the well one too many times. Now, I will say that the trailer looked pretty good. Looks like it was going to have a lot of over-the-top comedy. But I have my concerns with certain characters that they're bringing back without the original actor in forms of from the trailer, it looks to be their children. I think that might be taking things a step too far. If the original actor couldn't be in the movie, I think they would have been better off just glossing over their previous roles, possibly. But time will tell. Reed, what are your thoughts on what you saw in the trailers?
Well, to your point on that last point you made, and I think that's fair, because I think we've seen plenty of instances where you can obviously see a writer or a studio trying just a little too hard to kind of like shove in that extra, this person couldn't make it, so we're going to randomly pull their kid into
that extra nostalgia.
Right. And I really feel like something like that, it's got to happen naturally. You can't really force it in order for it to make it work.
You know what's natural?
What's that?
Voodoo Ranger, the unofficial sponsor of The High Ground.
Quite refreshing and delicious, even at this time of night. But I think that there are a couple things that I really think that they hit on in the trailer that kind of resonates with everybody. And first and foremost, it kind of that central plot of, hey, what's moving the story forward is the main character, Happy Gilmore, trying to do something for his family. In the first one, it was trying to help his grandmother through her house. It was motivated out of love. It was motivated out of, hey, I care for this other person. And based on the trailer, it's kind of a similar setup, but in this case, it's his daughter that he's trying to, he's trying to raise money for her schooling, her education, whatever. And so he dusts off his golf clubs. And it really just, it goes back to the well of trying to, that same theme.
Same storyline.
A similar storyline, but that kind of heart that the original one had. Like, okay, yeah, he's wild, he's crazy, he's fighting people all the time, but at his very core, he was doing this out of love of family.
Yeah, that's a good point you bring up, because I followed a very similar thing. Where, like, part of that trailer you showed me was that fight scene being pretty well identical to the original fight scene of the original Anchorman. That it's just writers going to a specific well one too many times. It worked once, it didn't work the second time.
Well, and I think that also there was a healthy balance between that and nostalgia, and I think that's a problem with a lot of like really late term remakes or sequels, to where they kind of try to overdo the nostalgia just a little bit, to where they're trying to capture that lightning in a bottle again. But a lot of places overdo it. But in this case, I'm trying to remain optimistic. Whether it be the cameo or the bring back of Shooter McGavin, whether it be him bringing back his Bruins jersey, those little bits of that are really memorable about the first one. That okay, they're bringing back, but they're really not trying to like overdo it. They're just kind of like hinting at it, like, oh, it makes me feel warm and fuzzy about it, even though the story is not the same as it was before.
Right. But on the flip side of that, they're bringing back his old car. Like, come on. Come on, he went PGA. It's not like that car was nostalgic. It wasn't his grandfather's. It was just, he was a broke ass white guy that thought he knew how to play hockey, and he had a shitty ass car. And they're gonna try and bring that car back. Like, they're going too far. I think that's a writer trying to bring Happy Gilmore 1 into Happy Gilmore 2, and they're trying to force me down a throat. And that's what worries me about this movie.
Fair. And I mean, at first glance, though, I think that it's almost like a reflection of Adam Sandler as a person and an actor, because I mentioned before we start filming this that this is the same guy that's made billions of dollars, however many. He's continued to work. He's beloved in the comedic community and just filmmaking everywhere.
Great guy too.
Great guy. And
off screen, great guy.
Yeah. And this guy goes everywhere in basketball shorts and a fucking hoodie.
Yep,
and just looks
nice and respectful to everybody he meets.
I mean, we saw the guy in concert or his stand-up last year. Yep. The guy came on stage, basketball shorts, a hoodie, and a fucking Hawaiian shirt.
I felt like I needed to throw $1 in his bucket. He looked homeless. I tell you, he looked fucking homeless.
But with that being said, I mean, maybe the broken ass piece of shit car. Maybe that's just a reflection of like, okay, that's
who he is as a person
in a very weird way.
Well, hey, maybe he still has his first car from high school. Who knows? Me personally, if I was a rich man, I would search heaven and hell to find my first car.
That's fair,
but I wouldn't let it be broken down like that.
Sure. I mean, at least make sure you can at least get around it without having to turn the engine over 1,000 times.
But,
sure.
Hey, I'm gonna make a prediction.
Okay.
Right now. Never seen the movie. They're gonna incorporate his grandma. It's gonna be in his happy place daydream. When he gets in the rut, he's gonna go to his happy place. His grandma is gonna be in his happy place. Calling it now. Because that's where the writers are. That's where their headspace is. Everything's coming back. Grandma, I'll see you soon.
That'd be an interesting use of AI, because I'd have to look, but I would assume that the actress that played his grandma in the original film was, I think, passed away by now.
I mean, she was 100 in
I could be wrong, but
so
let's just, for the sake of argument, let's assume that's correct. I mean, but that would be the perfect instance to integrate, what they don't AI as far as like a quick little this is it's her on screen or something like that.
For legal purposes, we don't know if she's dead or not, so don't sue us.
Right, of course. This is all purely speculation.
So let's be honest, she's dead.
Another thing that we kind of just agreed on, or kind of accepting, putting on suspension of disbelief. The sheer amount of cameos that we just kind of got from the trailer. Everybody from John Daly to another
Roy McIlroy.
exactly, to where, and we were saying this right before we started. Like, okay, there has to be this. This is a pop culture icon film in the goofiest way possible, and you can't tell me that there isn't a professional PGA golfer today that either hasn't seen it, has loved it, has laughed their ass off at some point, watching the original Happy Gilmore, that said, "Oh shit, they're making a second one. Oh, can I get in on that? Can I jump in the background?"
Isn't watching Happy Gilmore a prerequisite to joining the PGA Tour? If it's not, damn well it should be, because they really need that kind of energy. Golf's boring as shit to watch. Fun to play. Sorry, frustrating to play. They could use that energy.
Well, and also according to this, and I must have missed this in the trailer we watched. Maybe it's in there somewhere. Maybe in the other trailer. But apparently, also Eminem and Post Malone are also in the movie.
So here's one. Think real deep here. John Daly and Happy Gilmore. Is there a single better pairing in a sports movie between a fictional character and a real life character? Is there a better comparison?
He's about as a real life Happy Gilmore as you're gonna get.
It is.
Since that, he's a hell of a golfer, but he's relaxed.
He's
laid
a
back.
fat ass, drunk, cigarette smoking, candy bar eating, barefoot golfer, throwing his clubs in the lake. I can't think of a better comparison.
Still crushing it a mile, still making millions somehow.
Yeah.
Some kind of magical force in the universe is making this guy just an amazing player. So no, I'm
And he
not
doesn't
gonna argue that
even
at all.
win. If you look at his record, he's barely ever won. It's not like he's winning major after major. He doesn't win them very, very much, but it's just he's a character and people love him for it. They love his authenticity. Same with Happy Gilmore.
Well, and the funny thing is, we had a separate episode before where we thought the hypothetical movie between three Will Ferrell, Jim Carrey, and Adam Sandler making a movie together, how it ended up being some kind of like comedy version of The Expendables, where you just kind of overtly put a bunch of guys in there together just to kind of see how they play off each other. And I feel like maybe call it 5%, throwing a number out there, 5%, where I feel like they're almost trying to do this where, hey, we're throwing in Ben Stiller, we're throwing all these actual professional golfers in, we're throwing in Shooter McGavin, we're taking everybody that we possibly can and throwing it in, not to try to overcrowd it purposely, but at least to make it fun, make it constantly enjoyable, make it constantly, whatever, just bringing back as much joy from that original film as we can.
So random thought. You think Drew Carey's going to make an appearance?
Drew Carey. Why?
Because Bob Barker's dead. Drew Carey took over the realm, or the reign. Do you think Drew Carey might make an appearance here?
You know what? I honestly had never even considered that.
Would you say that's a misstep by the writers to bring in Drew Carey to cameo off of the old Bob Barker stuff? Because let's be honest, that's some of the most memorable movie scenes in history. I mean, The Price is Wrong, bitch, is one of the greatest movie lines ever.
I think that based on the story we've seen roughly in the trailer, I don't think it would naturally fit into the story. However, I feel like if the correct writer could do it with a quick 5-minute scene of where, so he just happened to be here. He meant to see Bob, but he didn't know Bob passed away, and all of a sudden, whatever.
A real quick hypothetical. Just based on kind of what I've seen on the trailer, they're going to try and follow a very similar structure of movie. So there may be a pro-am in this movie. He's going to start gaining steam. They're going to have a pro-am where he falls apart. Who do you project his partner being for that pro-am?
I don't know.
Or who do you expect or who do you want? Either or will do.
I don't know about expect or want, but for some reason, the second you said that, the name Michael Jordan came to mind. Like somehow he would just, even if it's like a quick, 2.5 second thing, he would be one of the golfers out there at the pro-am.
How come? Because that is a strange one for me.
I think it's just because for some reason, because I know, like, especially in retirement, he played a lot of golf. And I think he actually has done a number of actual pro-ams.
Well, yeah, he owns his own private golf course. It's actually one of the most renowned courses in the world. So he says.
Well, you combine that with, like, okay, a guy like Bill Murray, who, once again, he does a lot of those kind of things himself. And I feel like that would be a
That
natural.
man's still alive?
Oh yeah,
Damn,
he's still doing shit. And
Jesus.
no, and I wouldn't be surprised, and I would laugh my ass off if they, even for half a second, they showed Bill Murray fucking, there, because
You want to know my guess?
what?
I gotta catch you off. I'm dying to say
No, please.
Obama. It's gonna be Obama. It has to be because he's got some humor too.
No.
And it just
Let me
it's got to be Obama.
let me amend that, and I think you'll like this even better. Same concept. It'll be Obama in the story, but it won't actually be Obama. It'll be what's the name? Peel, the guy who does the Obama. Tell me that wouldn't be good. Where he's playing Obama, like he's next to some Secret Service agents or some shit on a golf course for like 5 seconds, and
I can see it, but only if we get Obama in the crowd that makes a quick cameo appearance to say something smirky. Then yes, that would be.
here to say a few special words before we kick off the tournament. Former President Obama,
Yep.
and he just comes out for like.
Yep. But I want a heckler in the background heckling Obama, and I want the heckler to be Obama. Yes, that works, and I hope that's in there.
I don't even care. I wouldn't even care what happens the rest of the movie at that point. It's like,
No,
okay,
that'd be great.
You win.
That'd be really
You got
good.
me. That was worth the price of admission. I'll tell you what. There was one thing that hasn't been confirmed in the trailers that I think might have just been a rumor at one point and fizzled out, but I could have sworn at one point in time I heard early on that Tiger Woods was supposed to be in this in some capacity, whether it be a cameo or like at some point I thought I heard he was supposed to be Chubbs' son. But from what we saw the trailer,
I wish that would be true.
I thought that was the case. Maybe that was the original idea and it just didn't pan out. Scheduling conflict, they just couldn't get him. Or I thought that was going to be the case.
Yeah, that's a missed opportunity for sure.
But I think regardless, though, I mean, we can't go into it with the expectation of it. It's not going to be as ingrained or as memorable as the first one. I think we just need to set that idea aside.
Do you think Rob Schneider's going to make an appearance and Kevin James?
I think that they're too much a part of his crew to not at least make some kind of weird appearance at this point.
Because I didn't see that he changed caddies. And that's always hasn't hit that guy. I can't remember that guy's name. Hasn't he been in a lot of Happy Madison films?
I think so. I honestly have to watch it again and kind of look a little
Because
closer.
he was in Mr. Deeds. He was the co-anchor or that co-reporter. Dude, the guy's ass whipped.
Was that guy? I don't think that was that
I'm
guy.
not 100% sure now that you say that, but
I don't think it. I'd have to look again. I think it was somebody
similar.
new.
It's a similar role.
I don't think it was his. I don't think it was one of his normal guys.
Oh.
I have to look again, but I really don't think it was. But I mean, the trailers. I genuinely feel the trailers gave us a taste of it. It gave us some hope, but I'm quite sure there's going to be some bits in there that they kept out purposefully just to kind of leave that element of surprise and wow and fun and whatever. And like I said before, we can't go into it expecting the same magic we got in the first one. It's unique in of its own. Nobody could ever do it again. So I think the expectations we have to have going into this one is, hey, let's prepare ourselves. Let's have fun again. Let's have fun in whatever it kind of throws at us and enjoy it, and not go in with expectations of whatever. Go into it with a fresh set of eyes, but trusting that Adam Sandler and his studio, his writing, all that, it's going to be fun. It's going to be an enjoyable experience.
Let's hope, because that's one of the greatest movies ever made, and let's hope they can keep that steam rolling. The last time I can remember Sandler making a kind of like Happy Gilmore-esque movie, Billy Madison type of movie was That's My Boy. And that's one of the funniest movies I've seen in a very long time. That's where his comedy should stay. He's tried his shot at like the more serious film that have a bout of comedy, but That's My Boy Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, that's his niche. That's where he needs to stay, and that's where he's best at.
I'll tell you what, I'll meet you halfway on that one because I think you could almost split it in half to where, okay, on one side of the argument, there's okay, his roles where it's more of a goofy, stupid, nasally talk, that kind of character. Like your Happy Gilmore's, your Billy Madison's, your that kind of boy where he's more of a goofy kind of character.
So name a more serious role other than 50 First Dates.
Okay, so like the movie Blended, or perhaps Wedding Singer, where it was slightly more serious. It still has the funny, it still has the comedy, it still has all its essence, but it's not quite that like.
I forgot about Wedding Singer, but
Right.
let's be honest. The greatest part about the Wedding Singer had nothing to do with Adam Sandler. It was that little boy that said, "Linda, you a bitch."
You're going to the mental institution.
Oh man, that was the whole movie. That little boy, he made the whole movie. But you're right. Wedding Singer was good. I forgot about the Wedding Singer. Someone's older. He's every now and again comes out with a pretty seriously weighted film with some comedy.
And think Mr. Deeds, it's a little bit more towards the center because there is some of that kind of goofiness, but it's more,
both ways. Yep.
There's a little bit more of
seriousness,
correct.
and comedy. Yes, you're right.
But-
You're right.
and that's it's nice because once again you can enjoy both, and both are unique with him.
Yep.
And
It's not over the top and a little.
Right.
Some of his movies maybe are less appropriate for younger kids.
Sure.
Whereas Wedding Singer, Mr. Deeds is more of a family comedy. Whereas Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, perhaps, maybe not suited for young kids.
Sure. And this is why, you can disagree with this till you're blue in the face, but I'm still not going to back down. That I am a firm believer that Adam Sandler is 100% the Taylor Swift of comedy.
So that's the high ground you're taking?
That is definitely that is the hill I'm going to die on in this particular
Okay.
instance. And I think that we can both agree that we're going to give Adam Sandler and his production crew, his writing, just his entire whatever that he's built over the course of his career, definitely has and will maintain the high ground for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. I won't argue that.
All right, is that where we're going to wrap this up at?
Yep, that's where we're going to wrap it up.
Well, that was fun. That'll do it for us here at the High Ground. And remember, stay nerdy, stay knowledgeable.
And always take the high ground.
See you next time.